This video is presented by Western and Southern Financial Group, a game plan for your financial future. Every great team starts with a strong foundation, and your future should too. With life insurance built like a championship roster, Western and Southern helps protect what matters most so you can focus on winning today while planning for tomorrow. Whether you're just starting out your journey, building your dynasty, or ready to retire like a champion, Western and Southern has the right play for your life stage. Visit westernsouthern.com to get your free life insurance quote today. Western and Southern, built to win. Chargers and the Patriots, though, that was Sunday Night Football. New England wins this game 16-3 as the final score. Top 5 graded players that we had for the New England Patriots. Defensive tackle Corey Durden with a 90.7 overall grade. Defensive tackle Milton Williams, a 79.8. Cornerback Marcus Jones, a 78.2. Cornerback Christian Gonzalez, a 77.7. Safety Craig Woodson, a 77.4. Drake May in this game, a 64.4 overall grade. On the Charger side of things, edge rusher Odafe Owe with an elite 90.8 overall grade. He's been a great addition for this team. Defensive tackle Tahir Tar with an 89.0. Offensive tackle Trey Pipkins, a 74.0. Linebacker Diane Henley with a 72.1. Safety RJ Mickens, a 67.3. And then quarterback Justin Herbert, a 29.7 overall grade. Justin Herbert now 0-3 in the playoffs. And the narratives are going off like wildfire. What was your stat that told the story here in this one?
Okay. I'm not going to sit here and tell you Justin Herbert was good in this game. He wasn't.
Yeah.
I'm also not going to sit here and bash him endlessly like many other people because
neither am I.
When he's under pressure 57% of the time, what do you want him to do?
It's more than half the time.
It is. That's far, far too much. If that number is over 40, I'm worried.
Of course.
We're at darn near 60.
Right.
Patriots set new season highs in this game. 75.9 pass rush grade as a team. 56.8% pressure rate. 6 sacks. And they blitzed Justin Herbert 20 times. That's more than they've blitzed any other quarterback this year. Mike Vrabel, and listen, I picked the Chargers to win because I thought maybe in this matchup they could overcome this offensive line just one more time. And Justin Herbert could get it done despite the flaws and the injuries. And I'll tell you what, nobody is going to be welcomed back to a team more next year than Joe Alt and Rashawn Slater are going to be welcomed back to the Chargers, right? They are going to, I mean, just throw the confetti just for those guys getting healthy and coming back, right? This was just way too much for Justin Herbert to try to overcome. I mean, you just cannot be under pressure this often and expect him to make play after play after play after play. And there's games this year where he's done it, right? And he's tried to, even the Texans game that they lost, he tried to come back, and it's just too much pressure. They just can't survive like this. You can't. We've talked about this with Joe Burrow, with Patrick Mahomes in the past, when there's times, like even the last Super Bowl, when his offensive line fell apart against the Eagles. You can't ask a quarterback, because I know that they're going to say, oh, the great ones overcome stuff. And this, I go, no, there's a limit to this. Right? It's how we've seen Mahomes lose his 2 Super Bowls. It's how we saw Burrow lose a Super Bowl to the Rams. You have to get Alton Slater back healthy, which should be assumed, right? Come like August, right? And this interior, rebuild the whole thing. Just rebuild the whole thing.
Yep.
You spend nothing, and they have a boatload of cap space too. You spend nothing but all of your time and energy and resources this offseason figuring out the interior of this offensive line. The Chargers have everything else to go to and win a Super Bowl. They have the quarterback, as much as he's got his doubters, okay? But even last year, he was under pressure against Houston in last year's playoff game, 52% of the time. Can't win. And he wasn't good in last year's playoff game. There's why. Does it fully exonerate Herbert? No, but you can't have an offensive line this bad in the postseason. Right? So they have the quarterback, right? If Amarian Hampton's healthy, right, which he wasn't in this game, probably have the backfield. It's good enough with a better line as well. You got a ton of great weapons outside. You got an awesome defense that kept you in this game for as long as they possibly could have. You got to block people. You just look at all the teams that are still remaining, right? The 49ers offensive line, once they got healthy, spectacular. The Bears, spectacular, right? The Rams, a little injured right now, but when they're healthy, they're spectacular, right? The Bills, Denver, all these teams all have really good offensive lines. The Chargers, it's injuries, yes, but also they need to rebuild the interior. they just got whacked in the trenches, man. And Mike Vrabel came into this game with his defense knowing, yeah, we're just going to get after him. We're going to run a ton of blitzes. We're going to run a ton of stunts. We're going to beat the crap out of this guy in the backfield because they can't block us. They can't block anybody. That's been the case. The fact that they went 11-6 with this offensive line should tell you just how good Justin Herbert is, instead of focusing on this one game where it's, you get to the postseason with a line like this and they're just overmatched. You just can't win big games with an offensive line this bad.
I'm with you. I think the stat that told the story to me is that the Chargers' run game was terrible. 12 carries for 30 yards total. Omari Hampton had 1 carry, and then they were like, yeah, he's not healthy. He doesn't have it. But if you told me before the game, hey, the Chargers are going to have 30-yard rushing, I'd be like, oh, easy loss. Easy. No question. Because if you could, the only saving grace that this team possibly had was Omari Hampton being really healthy. And to be honest with you, probably rushing for 100 yards. Because then at that point, New England can't pin their ears back and just get after Justin Herbert the whole time. At least you could have then kept New England off of you a little bit and not been as aggressive. The second Omari Hampton goes down, the second they stop Kamani Vidal, which that's not like an anti-Kamani Vidal rant there. But the second you stop him like a couple of times, that's blood in the water for Sharks. 100%. And that's what the rest of the game ended up becoming. So that, to me, is my stat that told the story there. My most impressive, I'm going to go with Ramondre Stevenson. 73.5 overall grade, 70.4 rushing grade, 73.8 receiving grade, 128 total yards on 13 touches. Really nice day from Ramondre Stevenson, who over the last month has been playing some really good football for this team. They have got a great duo out of the backfield, which you got to feel good about to lean on throughout the rest of these playoffs. So I thought he was my most impressive here. What about you? Most impressive before we get to disappointing?
To me, again, I'm going to stay with the pass rush, the interior pass rush for this New England team. You talk about guys, you mentioned Corey Durden earlier. Milton Williams, obviously, not only with the pass rush, but apparently headbutting his own coach, and Mike Vrabel was just fine with it, apparently. But you look at this defensive tackle group, combined for 15 pressures, a couple of sacks, and a 30% pass rush win rate. The Patriots, they could blitz whenever they wanted, but even when they didn't have to or they felt like they could sit back in zone, that interior pass rush was winning all day, right? And I think when you look at – I also want to mention the run game, too, with this defensive line. I really like some of the fronts that New England came out in on early downs. A little extra wide off the edges, right? We talked so much about, in the last month or so, about how the Chargers basically can only run if they break contain, if they break to the outside. New England just wasn't going to let them do it, which makes a ton of sense, all things considered, because they are incapable of running between the tackles, too. That's just the whole story to me, especially this interior unit for New England, just dominating the interior offensive line for the Chargers.
Most disappointing for me is Greg Roman. This tweet's from Sheila Kapadia, who does phenomenal work just covering the league as a whole. He tweeted this out and said, 2 playoff games during the Jim Harbaugh, Justin Herbert, Greg Roman era. 1 touchdown on 22 offensive possessions. Chargers have been outscored 48-15 in both of those losses. And then I had another tweet here. This is from Jason Reed, who works for Fansided. Points scored in Greg Roman's last 7 playoff games that he has been offensive coordinator. 23, 13, 17, 17, 12, 12, and then last night 3. 13.9 points per game average in the playoffs for Greg Roman's last 7 playoff games. I don't know if you caught this. This is a little, I can understand why and how this happens, but do you notice they ran like a little play action on 4th and 9?
Yeah.
With the season on the line?
Yep.
Now, I won't be too harsh on that one just because it's like, if you have a play you like and you've installed it and you've ran it all season with play action, don't mess up the timing, I guess, and like do the little play action because it's a very brief little play action. But it doesn't look good. It doesn't look good when your offense is played as poorly as they have all game long. You've got 3 points on the board. It's basically a Hail Mary type of a thing anyways that you're even going to convert this. And even if you do, if you score a touchdown, who knows what could possibly happen. But It just doesn't look good when you're running a play action concept on 4th and 9 with the season on the line. Everybody and their mother knows you're not running it. So does that in any way get in the way of Justin Herbert reading the field even for a half second because he's worried about, executing the mechanics of what is a play action play? It's just part of what kind of compounds the frustration. And, I looked up a little bit more with Herbert because I saw all the numbers of how much he was under duress and how bad the interior offensive line was and all that. However, clean pocket, no pressure. Justin Herbert, 43.1 passing grade. Didn't have any big-time throws. Didn't have any turnover-worthy plays either. His 3 turnover-worthy plays came when there was pressure. But still, clean pocket grade, that's how you get into the seeing ghosts category. When you start freaking out, even when the pocket is clean, and a player as talented as Justin Herbert isn't able to execute the way that we've seen him execute in the past, that's sort of dangerous. That to me would be the lasting I think point just from this game is, okay, Herbert didn't even know what to do when he wasn't getting pressured. That's the environment that we have built for him. And that's a terrible environment to have going into next year, which, by the way, Harbaugh was asked. Because remember, you remember where Greg Roman's last 3? Where was he? So he was the offensive coordinator with the San Francisco 49ers when Jim Harbaugh was there, right? When they had Colin Kaepernick and when they made the Super Bowl. He was then the offensive coordinator for Lamar Jackson and the Ravens with John Harbaugh.
Yeah, Buffalo in between.
Buffalo, that was it. Buffalo's in between. And now he's back with Jim Harbaugh.
Yep.
And so Greg Roman very clearly is invited to Thanksgiving every year to the Harbaugh's house. He is like a family friend at this point with how long he has worked on the staff of both Jim and John Harbaugh. Jim was asked after the game, like, hey, I'm paraphrasing here, but essentially like, what's up with Greg Roman? Is Greg Roman going to be back next year? And even Jim Harbaugh was like, I can't answer that right now. I just can't answer that right now. I feel like this is another situation where you got to make a change. Yeah, switch. I understand that Greg Roman can't go out there and block the guys himself. He can't go out there and play tackle or guard or whatever. But I would just start to really get nervous that the voice in your ear is one that reminds you of home, which is being pressured all the time. And I don't like that for Justin Herbert.
No, I'm with you on that. And you know what it was about the clean pocket grade there that you mentioned. I felt this. It felt like a clear cutoff when I was watching the tape this morning of this, and we got to the second half of this game, and it felt like all of a sudden Justin Herbert went into halftime, and then he came out and he was like, man, I really don't want to get hit as much as I just did in the first half. Because, look, first half in a clean pocket, all right, 70, I think it's a 73 passing grade. Yeah, 73 passing grade in the first half. Second half, a 30.
Oh, I didn't split it up in half.
It's just something I needed to look at it now. I forgot to check the numbers earlier, but when I was watching, he came out on the first drive of the third quarter, and all of a sudden I was like, oh, he's nervous. He knows this game's going to come down to him, and he's about to get hit a lot. And he did. Mm-hmm. I mean, he was getting by the last 6 or 7 minutes of the game, I mean, he was just getting killed, right? I mean, the fumble that he had in the fourth quarter, I mean, he took a helmet just right in his sternum. I mean, this is the part where I'm like, yes, Justin Herbert played poorly. Again, what do you want him to do when he's getting hit half the time, when he's under pressure 57% of the time? And all year, this is why, for as wide open as the AFC is, this is a team that we couldn't sit here and consider Super Bowl contenders because of this offensive line. But, I mean, it's clear as day right in front of them. And it's only odd because any team that Jim Harbaugh's ever coached, whether college or NFL, has had great offensive lines. Mm. Got to find a way to get it now. The tackles, the good news is that that's the easy part. If they're not spending this entire offseason, again, building this interior and finding even more depth in case more of these injuries happen, because very rarely does a team get through all 17 games with their 5 starters, I wouldn't know what they were doing if they didn't just fully focus on this offensive line this offseason.
All right, here we go. You ready? Signed Brett Toth in free agency at center because I don't know any other center who's better, who's going to hit free agency, and that's kind of the first one that was all right that came into my head, who played decent when he actually got in there this year.
Okay.
Vega Owane.
Yeah.
The offensive guard from Penn State in the first round. Chase Besantis, the offensive guard from Texas A&M, in the 3rd round. Boom.
Those are reasonable. I'm just looking at other names for center, or you could draft a center. I'm looking at guards right here.
Drafting a center, I mean,
I'm just looking at guards real quick. Isaac Seumalo, John Simpson.
I'd rather draft the 2 dudes that I mentioned. They're so good in pass pro. I think both those guys is the thing.
Elijah Vera Tucker.
Ooh.
Coming off another injury.
I know, he's so good,
Is the problem.
He's so good.
Right. Tevin Jenkins?
Nah.
Injuries there. But
yeah, no.
I mean, David Edwards is a free agent. That would be a good one.
Think?
I think so.
Well, plenty of time to fix the Chargers offensive line.
That's just, we got to, unless we just do our mock drafts for them and we just go, just the whole draft.
I mean, just
take 7 offensive
Chargers fans would applaud it.
I would.
If we went just 7 offensive line. I don't know how many.
Throw as many darts. Throw as many darts as possible.
You got to fix it.
Doesn't matter.
You got to fix it somehow.
Yep.
We enjoyed all these playoff games. Hopefully you guys did as well.
Everyone's got takes. Numbers have truth. And the truth is, most people are betting with emotion. Sportsbooks feed on it. TikTok gurus sell it. The hype machine runs on it. That's how you lose. PFF is different. You're betting with winning data. The same data trusted by all 32 NFL teams and the sharpest minds in the game. PFF betting tools take every prop, every matchup, every angle, and run them through our custom models. Built on the best football data in the world. What comes back is your edge. Simple, sharp, and built to win. Want to go deeper? PFF puts a pro-level analytics department in your hands, giving you the same insights teams use to find every advantage. Build your game plan with matchup analysis. Project every snap, every matchup, and every edge before kickoff. Because the smartest plays start long before Sunday. Hit rates show how a player performs against their prop and against defenses built the same way. It's the data that gives you real confidence in every pick. Next, Key Insights translates PFF data into the story behind every matchup, giving you the why that powers your bets. From coverage schemes to defensive looks, it's the context that turns raw numbers into winning decisions. When you're ready to take action, filter through every prop on the market and focus on the opportunities that matter, by game, matchup, or value. Then, shop for the best available line in your area and tap your book of choice to place the bet instantly. Everyone's got takes, but now you've got truth. Bet with data, win with PFF.